Hello, my name is been well, and are you prepared to change a little bit of the way that you think you knew about the FNAF lore? Now, I want to say that everything I say here, I'm going to be making a little, FNAF, theory timeline thing about what Scott was intending the first 4 games to be. And remember, everything that I say here is not a actual part of the FNAF lore nowadays. So remember, everything I say here is going to be talking about what it was intended to be, and then talking about how Scott changed the entire lore. So remember, when I talk about some of the lore standpoints from the older ones, I am talking about what Scott intended it to be most of the time. So take it with a little grain of salt. Now, are you ready to throw away everything that you ever thought about the FNAF lore out the window? Because there is something that I want to say. Scott has changed the lore entirely. Now, you are probably thinking behind your little screens at home thinking, what is this man on about? But I think there's some pretty good evidence to support this. So, I am pretty sure that, you know the theory, dream theory, that it's all a dream? Everybody kind of hated that theory because it's just kind of lazy from a lore standpoint. Like, why would Scott do it? Just lazy from a lore standpoint. Well, my guess is that that's what everything was meant to be. And the FNAF 4 was intended to support that. What if that's true? It's just that when people didn't like it, he literally just changed the lore because he realized that people weren't liking what was there. Yeah, and they thought it was lazy from a lore standpoint. So I want you to look at these images here, and I'll tell you why I think that these images really support this theory. Now, personally, I think this is some pretty cut and clean evidence, because look at that again. In the FNAF 4 minigame, why would the tiny toy Chica be missing her beak? Okay. But look at FNAF 2 Chica. And she is also missing her beak. And look at this other photo here. What is hidden in the shadows is either easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. So my theory on this is that is pretty concrete evidence. And my guess is my guess is basically that it was made so that it could take off things, so that it could make sense in the storyline. Scott has literally said he made Sister Location to flesh out some lore points of FNAF 4. And if you don't believe this theory, be my guest. Put your arguments in the comments, I do not care. I believe this, and I think it's kind of the right direction of it. Now, I want to say, dream theory, I think, is the original idea, but it is nowhere close to modern-day FNAF, okay? It's not modern-day FNAF. I know it's not. But now, here is my theory. A game theory. I'm definitely MatPat. It's a spring day, approximately a month before the kid's birthday party. And he sees on this flyer a place called Fredbear's Family Diner. He thinks to himself, that looks cool. Maybe I should have my birthday here. So he goes to there and checks out how he likes the place. Sees if he thinks it's good birthday material for his birthday. And then he sees the animatronics and stuff, and he's a bit scared by them, but intrigued. He goes home, and then he starts having these nightmares. That these nightmarish, ghoulish animatronics are going into his room at night. These things like the characters that he thought he loved, like Balloon Boy, Fredbear, and Freddy, all in his room at night. And his older brother, let's call him Michael, decides to start putting on a Foxy mask and starts scaring him. And that's how his days kind of roll out for quite a while. And then it goes to where it's 5 days before his party. He starts having these nightmares way too frequently, like every night. And then finally, at that party, his brother Michael and some of his friends decide to shove him in they put his head straight up all impersonal and close in Fredbear's mouth. And then he's so scared that he starts crying, and snap, a malfunction happened. And then, after that, his brother in guilt starts having the same nightmares his brother once had. Every single night. Every night, he's tortured by these animatronics. He's working as the night guard. And they're all wanting him. They're all out for blood. And then he starts to feel what his brother felt once more. Now here is kind of an area where, like, you expect me to say the end here of the story, where I'll say, like, what happened at the end. But here's the thing. Scott never even ended up going with this storyline. So we don't even know how this would have ended. We don't know how it would have ended. I just thought it was interesting and something I wanted to touch on this. I did a scary voice there just because I thought it would kind of be funny to match the aroma, just kind of as a joke. And yeah, it was pretty fun to do this. I hope you enjoyed my, little story time of what I think happened in the original story. And then Scott's people didn't like it because, Dream Theory, it's just kind of lazy storytelling from a story standpoint, and people weren't happy. I mean, the man Scott himself has said that people weren't really happy about it from a story standpoint. So yeah, that's kind of my theory now. I hope that you understand that it's not good. This is not going to be that good of a theory video. I might try to touch on this more as I find more evidence of this, but to be honest, it's just not a lot of evidence because Scott never ended up going with this. So there's not too much to go off of when it's not even something Scott did at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm going to stop stalling you, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will. Till next time. Bye!